I'm back, baby. Where have I been, you may be wondering? Well, last week I attended the North American WCQ. So that meant that beginning of last week, I was training like a mad dog, like all my free time. I was on Dueling Book and Dev Pro and all that stuff, testing strategies, figuring out what to do, what to use. Also, that way when I left Thursday, I would feel confident and ready for the biggest tournament I'd ever attended up till that point. And how did the whole tournament go? Well, to sum it up in a few words, Zodiac, Zodiac, Zodiac! Oh, wait, here's a nice little break from Zodiac. I'm going to face against True Dracos. Oh, wait, I didn't properly prepare for True Dracos because all I've been doing is trying to figure out how to beat Zodiac! Maybe let's get back on track, shall we? This week and last week, Yugioh Vrains went in some pretty interesting directions. I wasn't totally expecting where we were going with all this, but I'm kind of really excited, and we actually had, in my opinion, the show's first big hiccup, but we'll get to that. First up, I loved that beginning scene from last week's episode where Yusaku went looking for Aoi, found her on the roof, and she just looks dead. Like, the way she's kneeling like that, I mean, that sounds kind of dirty, actually, but the way she's just kind of blank and soulless right now. First up, it really works because we took basically a whole episode to get to know this girl. And again, a lot of people, myself included, really felt for her and really cared to see what happens next to her. And then when you see her like this, combined with how graphic and disturbing the mind control scene was 2 episodes ago, it just really makes the whole thing feel all that creepier. And I love the minimalism to it. She's not like convulsing or has weird eyes or spouting magic Yu-Gi-Oh nonsense. She's just gone. Like, her mind is out, and Yusaku has to figure out what to do about it. But what can he do about it? And that's what's really great about it, is that no one really knows what's going on or how to really deal with it, so it really sets in the sense of helplessness to the whole thing. Like, the Knights of Hanoi are so much doing their own thing and ahead of everyone else that it's not like he goes to the hospital and it's like, oh, we've seen this several times before, we gotta get her back from Vrains. No, the guy just goes, well, we can't find anything wrong with her body, so it's gotta be her brain? Like, that's sort of it, and it creates this real dark atmosphere, as the Knights of Hanoi could hurt anyone any way they want. And you see this painful thing happen to this character we've actually liked, so I think it just creates a really good effect for the whole thing. And I like the little scene when Akira shows up and actually just flat out wonders if Yusaku is her boyfriend. I'm really sort of liking that they're kind of building up this relationship tension between the two. I think it's a fun change from the way these relationships have been done in this series. As for how everyone is reacting to the whole Aoi thing, I like that Yusaku seems genuinely concerned, but it's not overplayed. He's not like crying, fearing for the first person he's ever really connected with. No, he still has to do his job. He just has an extra motivation, and that's to save her. These two have a connection, and I like the fact it's being played, in my opinion, correctly. As for everything with Akira, that's kind of where I'm having a bit of an issue. So the issue I'm having with Akira is that I don't really get what has led him to the conclusions that brought him to where we saw him at the beginning of this week's episode. So Aoi gets hurt. And up until that point, I like that we were led to believe that he just didn't care about her. Like, it didn't matter to him. But now we understand that it's because he kind of just took her for granted. I think that's a nice way to relate to the character and connect him. And I understand they're trying to humanize him. But I also think they were trying to get all of involved parties in the same space, and they needed something to do that, and instead of doing something natural and organic, we had this whole crazy thing happen. Because I don't understand why he would assume that Playmaker is responsible for how she got in this position. Like, he knows that Playmaker is against the Knights of Hanoi, and they know that she had a Hanoi card. That's what's causing the problem. So why would you not just try and meet up with Playmaker or lure him out so you can try him get him on your side, even if he's just trying to manipulate and control him like Reiji did in Arc 5? I don't really get why he thinks that, and I really honestly believe it is just so the two can be in the same room for when Revolver shows up. And even Revolver, I think, is kind of not... I don't understand what he wants or his plan either. But before we get into that, I do at least want to say Ghost Girl. I don't remember her name yet. I like that scene between her and Akira. I like that they're both very intelligent and they understand that and they respect each other's intelligence. Like her instant reaction, like when he sort of says that you went behind my back and told my bosses, she's just like, yeah. And he, at the same time, isn't angry. He is also just kind of like, yeah. The idea that the people in this universe are smart and understand that, but they will still do whatever they want, I think is very good. It sets up a very good relationship between the two, and I really do like the idea that everyone just kind of is understanding. They're not idiots. They do what makes sense for their characters to do. Why should she keep the secret? She's just in it for her own. And I like the fact that they didn't shy away from that. I also think it's kind of an interesting idea that the bosses, the chess pieces, are going to get mad at Akira because it's like, hey, he's your sister. I think that could lead to some more good consequences from this. We'll have to see where that goes. But getting back to Revolver, what exactly is this guy's goal when it came to attacking Aoi? My assumption was that it was because he genuinely believed she could beat Playmaker. But then in this week's episode, he's like, oh yeah, no, I just needed to lure Playmaker out. But Playmaker has been going after your guys nonstop. Just show up in the middle of the city. You know all he's going to do is duel you. Like, the only thing I could figure is maybe he thought that he could get Playmaker to let his guard down or not properly prepare for the encounter. So he basically sent Akira after him. But there's no way he could have predicted. First up, I don't even remember if he knows that Playmaker is Yusaku. I don't think he does, but I don't really remember. But whether he does or doesn't, there's no way he could predict that setting Yusaku up against Blue Angel would do anything more than if he just went after him. His whole sort of assumption seems to be that he thought that Yusaku would be more reckless or try harder if it was Aoi. But he even says Yusaku has a strong sense of justice. So why not just let yourself go out there? Again, you know he hates you. So just do that. It just sort of feels like, again, they kind of needed everyone in the same spot. All three of our main parties involved needed to meet each other, and they all needed a reason to meet. So make that reason Aoi and sort of have it make sense. That's what seems to have happened here. And it just kind of discredits everything that's been happening. I've really liked how intelligent and clever everything's done to this point, and then it's just kind of you have this big force in the middle contrivance. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Tell me what you guys think. As for what happened next, I really love Revolver and his motivation. The idea that he is actually anti-internet, the idea that he is anti-technology, he's anti what things like social media and virtual reality are doing to us as a society, I think is a really great idea. It's such a common theme now in society, and technology is so rampant. Hell, you're watching me on a phone right now, most likely. And I do like that idea that he's against it. Like, because the thing is that we get this subplot a lot, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Could screw it up, and I really hate the whole technology is evil. That's as far as we go with it. But he even starts talking about it, and you think about everything he's done, and everything we've seen from everyone else in the show, I can kind of see his reasoning. Like, it's been done in a very clever way. And okay, he is the cause of most of the problems we've been having. But again, look at what we're seeing in this show. A young girl is now in a coma. Her mind is lost in the internet because of, well, technology. Like, the thing about it, like, if someone hacks your computer, you physically are fine. That is the state technology is in right now. But in the future, when it's like we're at chip in the brain state, what happens? Like, again, the connection to technology has hurt us as a society, even in real life. Now, obviously, I don't think like Revolver does, but I get his reasoning, and you really see how fragile this world that Yugioh Vrains is set in is through everything going on with Aoi. And you really can see how someone could think like Revolver. It'll be interesting to see how Yusaku challenges this mentality, or even if he will. But I think it's a great starting point for the character, and I really do enjoy it. As for the duel itself, fine. Kind of standard stuff I was expecting. I had a feeling we'd see Cracking Dragon again. I knew we'd see a couple of the Circuit Break cards, and I knew Decode Talker would do something. The Bomber Dragon looks cool, but apart from that, the main interesting things about this episode and really this show so far has just been the characters, and I do really like that. But did you think this was a big plot hole? Tell me that in the comment section below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Tell me that. And as for this week's TCG question of the week, no, it's nothing about Nats. I don't want to think about the 2017 Nats ever again. But basically, today they revealed the Spiral and Subterror Link monsters. I think they're stupid, pointless, and do absolutely nothing for two pretty bad archetypes. But what do you think? In the comment section below, give me your thoughts on these two Link monsters. Do you think they save the decks? Do you like the decks? Because I know the decks have a lot of fans, and that's great. I just don't really like them. But as always, click to like and click to subscribe, and let's see where the duel goes.